All right, guys, for today, we've got a special guest. We've got Pam, and we're going to do a quick role play today. Really just see how it feels to be on the phone with a seller and go through the King Closers formula from soup to nuts, asking how much you're looking to get for it, all the way to making that offer and getting that contract sent and signed. So, without further ado, Pam, feel free to give yourself a little intro, and then we'll get right to it.
Hi, I'm Pam Stuper. I work with a partner out in California, Coastal Breeze Partners, and I am about 2 weeks into TU. And Caesar's been a great mentor and given me a lot of great hacks. So still early on the process and excited to give it a go here.
Nice. Thanks, Pam. How do I send that $100, by the way? Should I Venmo you or just kidding?
If I get a deal today, I'll Venmo you twice that.
Yeah. All right, Pam. So what I'll do is I'll put the address on the private chat right here.
Okay.
And then you're just going to give me a call and ask me if I'm looking to sell that property. Don't say the address, but you can say the street name.
Okay. Just writing this down so I see it.
No problem. And then tell me whenever you want to start, whenever you're ready.
All right, let me get back to video. All right. We're good. All right, so I'm calling. Ring, ring.
Ring, ring. Hello.
Hello, is Caesar there?
Yes, it is. Who is this?
Hi, this is Pam Stuper. I am calling about your property at 111 Main Street.
Okay.
Are you looking to sell?
Yeah, actually I am. How'd you get my number?
I work with a number of investors, and it came to me through one of our investors and on our platform. Okay. So I saw that you were interested, but just wanted to double check that it's still for sale. How much are you looking to get for that property?
Looking to get about 110.
About 110?
You got it.
All right. So tell me a little bit more about what's going on.
Yeah. So it's a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom, just a little over 1,000 square feet. It's out here in San Antonio. It's been it was my rental property, but it's been vacant for 6 months now. I'm just tired, Pam. I have multiple properties, and I'm old, 75. I don't want to fix it anymore. I was gonna update it so I can get another tenant in, but I'm over it. So I'm just letting go my properties, and since this one is vacant right now, I'm letting this one go first.
Okay. So you mentioned you're tired and having tenants. When was your last tenant there?
6 months ago. 6 months ago.
6 months ago. Okay. Did they move on, or did you have to remove them or anything?
Oh yeah, no, it was just they actually ended up buying another house, so it was good for them. They finally bought a house, and very happy for them. It was just time for them to go. That's all.
Okay. And so you've been a tenant for a bit, tired of fixing it up. Tell me a little bit about, fixing it up, a little more about the house.
Yeah. Well, the people that were there they're great tenants. So nothing was messed up. There's no holes in the wall, no crack in the foundation. The roof is still good. Now the roof is 10 years old. So that's something that I was thinking of replacing myself. Other than that, the HVAC is still good. Like I said, foundation is good. Now that being said, they were there for 10 years. Actually a little over 10 years. So I think like 15 years. So it still looks like early 2000s. So yeah, so I would say replace the roof, and then you got to do a lot of updating on the inside, and then obviously paint outside, depending on whether you want to sell it or rent it out again.
And you may have said this. Remind me, when did you start renting the home? As soon as you purchased it, or did you ever live in it? Use it for?
No, I mean the tenant's been there for 10 years. So there was another tenant before that. So I bought it like 15 years ago.
15 years ago. Okay. And do you have any other rentals in the area?
Yeah, I do. I do quite a bit. But this is the one that I'm selling right now because the other ones are still the other ones still have tenants in there. So as their lease ends, I'm just gonna go ahead and start offloading them one by one.
Okay. Great. And you mentioned being, a little older and not wanting to be a tenant anymore. Can you share a little bit more in that? Kind of why it's time.
Yeah, just I just don't want to deal with tenants and toilets anymore, man. I've been doing it for 30 years, and it's just time for me to just cash in. I'll leave some behind for my kids. At least they have something. But other than that, I think the community is growing as well. So there's a lot of potential for me to cash in on my properties.
Okay. If you wouldn't mind, you have a few minutes here. I'm just plugging in your address, taking a look at things, so I get a better idea. I'm calling and I'm not at the property right now, so I'm just getting a sense of the neighborhood and kind of other properties around, so I can run some numbers on it.
Yeah, take your time. I'm 75. I've got all the time in the world.
So what do you do when you have extra time on your hand?
I just play with my grandkids.
Great.
Yeah, I've been
Are they
fortunate.
local?
They are local. So I've been fortunate enough that they're local and
Nice. And how many grandkids do you have, if you don't mind me asking?
I've got 5.
5.
Yeah,
That'll keep you busy. How many kids?
I have 3 kids.
Okay. They are local? All of them?
Yep.
All the grandkids? Good
They're
fun.
all, yep.
Terrific.
They're keeping me alive.
And forgive me, I may have asked you this. What were you charging for rent each month?
Yeah, well, they've been there for a long time, so I kept it low.
Okay.
Just because it was good money, right? It was mailbox money coming in. I was cash flowing. I bought it really cheap 15 years ago, so I was only charging them 1,000. But in that neighborhood, for that size, for a family move in there, you can charge up to like $1,400, maybe 15. Really pushing it if you do a really good job remodeling it, but I think $1,300 would be a safe bet.
All right. Well, thank you for this information. Very helpful. I'm looking at pictures here of the house as well. Have you done much to the outside, like landscaping, the back and that, or is it pretty much?
No, when the person left, I just didn't do anything.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
but
the person,
if you're looking at the Google Maps, I don't know how old that is.
yeah, 2022 as I look on Google Maps. So a couple of
Yeah,
years.
yeah.
Okay. And remind me too, you've kept the water, the electric on, even though there's no tenants.
Yeah, I've kept it on just because I was gonna remodel it, and then I decided not to.
Okay. Bear with me here as I look at a few numbers here. And, where you're living in San Antonio, you had said the, roof is about 10 years old. Have there been any major storms there? Any damage that was done to the roof that you had to take care of in that time?
No, it's just probably time to replace it. I mean, if you buy this property off me now, you're either going to replace it now or you're probably going to replace it in a few years. You know what I mean? So
Right.
that's why I just want to let you know from an investor to investor, you're probably going to replace it. So I might as well replace it now versus having to replace it later when you have tenants in there, you know?
Yep. All right. And the square footage is 1,016. Is that
Yep.
accurate what I'm seeing online?
Yep.
Okay. And you did say it was a 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And one other question about the rentals. I know you had long-term rentals in that area, short-term rentals possible? You know?
I don't know. I don't do
No,
any of that
okay.
Airbnb stuff. There's no HOA though, so that maybe that helps
No
you.
HOA. Okay. Yeah. And no deed restricted community, no HOA.
Mm.
All right. Okay. All right. So looking at a few numbers here, how it works on our end. If we come to an agreement today and I send you over a 2-page contract, you take a look at it, I can walk through that with you. From there, if we agree upon it, we would come out, we would take a walkthrough, do an inspection. If everything you're saying today about the property is accurate, we'll close on your timeline at the price we agree on. And if not, we'll revisit that timeline and price. Does that sound okay to you?
Yeah, that sounds fair.
Okay. So if we close today, when we close today, what is the best possible price that you can give me if I'm paying all closing costs, there are no realtor's fees, and this is a cash offer?
What did I say earlier? 105. So if you're paying all the closing costs, so if I were to sell that, realtor fees, I'd pay about 7. I can probably do
Oop, it cut out.
I can do 100.
Could do 100.
Actually, Pam, I like you, so I'll do 98. How's that?
Well, thank you. I like you too. Would like to do business with you.
Okay.
And I know you have some more properties for sale as well. So,
Yeah.
looking at numbers here, and the ARV I have at 190,000. till we fix some things, update, do the roof, take care of the things that you had mentioned here. Less repairs. Right now, again, for me to make an investment in this, I'm coming around $89,000.
89, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a little too low. That's a little
Yeah.
too low. There's a lot of new houses that are selling for a lot more, and I think you can make a killing on this. I mean, I want to make sure you have meat on the bone because I've been on your side. But 89 is just, I'm just going to be losing too much for such a great opportunity for you.
Mm-hmm. So you're trying to walk away where you have this free and clear?
Yeah.
Yep. And so just trying to get some money in your pocket here. What, off of my first offer, again, looking at the repairs, we want to be, conservative in that, depending on how long it takes, holding costs as we hold on to this to try to make the repairs and then get a renter in there. I need to make sure that I account for that. And obviously, me assigning the property and working with investors with that price as well. With those things in consideration too, and I want to put money in your pocket. Tell me what you can do off of your original offer of 100K.
So you're at 89.
I'm at 89.
98.
You're at 100. I'm looking through a few more numbers here in the area. I obviously want to.
Well, why don't we do this? Why don't you meet me a little bit more than halfway, and we'll call it a day. I mean, you're 89. I'm at 98. I'll let it go for 95.
Looking at these numbers here, yeah, I think 92,000 is my best offer. So just to cover the costs that we need to here, I'd feel confident we can 92,000, get cash in your hand, close on your timeline, and with the convenience, you can get rid of this property, move on, and spend time with your grandkids.
Yeah, that sounds right. That sounds nice. But Pam, are you really going to lose this deal over 3,000?
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at properties in the neighborhood. And so, investors that are interested in that area, I'm talking to a number of folks today. So, we're ready to move on our end, and, whoever's willing to work with us here too is where we'll go. So I need to hold to our numbers to make sure I get an investor in here to take on the property.
Yeah, I understand. Well, Pam, I I'm getting like 3 or 4 calls a day on this. Why don't I noodle on that number? I think my bottom line is 95 here. But let me see. Maybe give me a call tomorrow or Thursday, and then let's see if I can do that 92. But right now I'm a little stubborn on the 95.
Okay. So may I ask you, you went down from your original number, and you said there's now an offer for 95. Why didn't you take that?
Oh no, I didn't say there's an offer. I didn't say there's an offer.
You're
I'm just telling you that I'm getting 5 phone calls a day. I'm sure one of them is going to be stupid enough to give me 95. So I'm just going to wait for that.
All right. So let's book a time here, and you can think about this. Do you want me in the meantime to send an email over with, an offer in writing, or you want to sit on this and we can talk tomorrow?
Yeah, sure. You can send me an email. I don't really need to read my emails, so probably not even worth
Okay.
your time. Shoot me a
We won't
text.
work on that.
Shoot me
Okay.
a text. I'll save your info. So when you call, I know.
All right. So that's you said tomorrow I can call?
Yeah.
Okay. What time works best for you? In the
Around this
morning?
time is fine.
Around this time? Okay.
Yep.
What I will do is I will send you a text with my contact information so you know. I will call you promptly tomorrow morning. We'll make it, how about 9:30 your time?
Mm-hmm. That's fine.
And we'll talk then. You could want to think about that $92,000 offer and know you can walk away, enjoy time with the grandkids, and let somebody else take on this home and the tenant. And yeah, would love to do business with you.
Cool. All right. Yeah, we'll talk. All right. End
Okay.
script. End
All right.
script. All right.
Thanks.
How was that, Pam?
Well, I have to say, I don't know if the numbers, I tried to do conservative, but I'm still learning to comp while on the phone. And I think just, yeah, probably not being seen. I could do more pause moments, but being video recorded as well, my head was moving all over the place.
I
So
bet.
I think
I bet.
I held to the 92 because I'm not so confident with the numbers as well that I didn't want to overshoot. Like I can't get rid of this, and 92 is already pushing it. So yeah, it's kind of
Okay.
why I didn't
All right.
hold on 95.
Okay.
But love
So
feedback.
yeah. So before I give the feedback, love to hear from you. Like, what are some of the things that you liked about it, and what are some of the things that you feel like you could have done a little better, just based on what just happened?
I think this is the first time I've ever done this, so this was great. So I jotted a few notes down. If I could keep those in my head, I think I can input things more quickly and get to the bottom. And so as I was, bouncing around between a couple of the platforms, trying to come up with that ARV, I kind of went off numbers that I'm seeing that are jumping out at me rather than really running comps. So I would love some more work to do that. But I think early on, I think it came up at the end, neglected to mention to check if there was an HOA or anything there when I asked about the short-term rental piece. Might have wanted to see that on the front end. Again, if it's a property where you could short-term rental, make more, could be enticing for more end buyers, and that kind of exit strategy where long-term rental, maybe you're not bringing in as much cash. And then there was one other thing I'm thinking, took me a little bit to ask, but I got to it when I was trying to feel out the layers. It was a little more through the conversation. I did ask a few questions, probably didn't really need to know, but I needed time. So
Yeah.
when I asked
Yeah.
about more rentals or talk about the grandkids and then do you have kids, I was like, I just need more time to do this. And I need him to keep talking so he feels engaged, and maybe he'll share a little bit more. I don't think at the end of the day, when I look at the buckets, I think the price point was somewhat close, but I'm not sure the total motivation was there. So I think that's where he didn't seem so distressed that he's like, I got to get rid of this. So I didn't find that pain point very well. And I don't know if there is one. So I think that would have been better on the front end if I could have found that.
Got it.
If
Awesome.
there was one. Yeah.
That's great. Those are great. So a couple of things. What I liked about what you did, okay, you did peel off the layers. You asked multiple questions. It wasn't just one time he's tired of tenants and you gave up on it. You asked more questions. You got to know about my grandkids. You got to know my kids, which you used at the last, right? It was kind of like your last hammer that you used, which was great. So that's awesome. Now, you're right. It was a little bit all over the place, but that will come with time, right?
Yeah.
But now you know, and as you have more repetition, those things are going to come into place where you're able to connect the dots, and now you know when to ask those questions. So first step is knowing to ask those questions, knowing to peel off the layers, and you just did that. So that's awesome. That's a win, right? Now, the more repetition you have, so don't even think about when do I need to ask these questions. Don't worry about it. Just have more repetitions because it'll just come naturally, right? Once you have the repetitions, it'll just start clicking. So that's one. If you are needing time, which I understood why you were asked some of those questions, like, ooh, that was just way out of the left field. But I knew you were just it was just a filler for you,
Yeah.
right? And so you know this because you were in sales before. I always like to say small talks with a purpose.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? Small talks with a purpose. So what I mean by that, I would ask questions about their motivation. Out of nowhere. Hey, by the way, see, the reason why it was so off was because you just asked the question. You didn't have the transition.
Right.
The transition phase would be, hey, Pam, while I'm looking at some of these comps here, can you tell me a little bit more about your grandkids? I've got a couple of my own. Completely
Yeah.
off topic, but the transition is there where it makes sense, right? Or,
Right.
hey, Pam, while I'm looking at these comps, you mentioned you have multiple properties, you're a renter in there, your landlord. So how much can I rent this out for after I fix it? Oh, 1,300. Okay. By the way, if I were to fix it and decide to flip it, how much do you think I can sell it on the market? By the way, you were going to do this, so how much do you think it would cost me in dollar value to get it rent ready? And how much do you think it would cost me dollar value for me to be able to flip it? Right? Those are what I call small talks with a purpose. I'm saying, hey, while I'm doing these comps, let me ask you these, right? So I'm having him talk, right? And it's all open-ended question, but it's with a purpose there because he's going to give me information that I can use while I'm comping.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, small talks with a purpose.
Yeah.
Few things you need.
When they're small talking as well, with experience, I feel like it comes like I'm still jotting some notes to come down because the information when I was in sales before and would talk, I didn't have to take notes. Like I was engaged and you could retain. So I think about, okay, make sure I have some of this information. You're plugging numbers in and I know recording's good, right? Because then you can always go back to look at it. But in that moment when I want to get an offer and I need to go back to something, any tips there? Do you jot a few things down or you're in a space so you can keep it up here?
I'm in the space now where I keep it up there, but I jot down words.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what I was doing.
Kids. Yeah. You were doing everything you're doing right now is good.
Okay.
Nothing. Like it's literally just repetition.
Right. Okay.
Right. Repetition. And what I mean by that is you are talking to people already, Pam, but you're talking to people and you're ending before you give the offer. And so you haven't pushed yourself beyond your boundaries right now. And so, yes, you have repetition, but you don't have the right repetition. So now it's all about push yourself. As sucky as it feels, push yourself to give that offer on the spot. Because with your skills, because I've talked to you several times now, after 3, 4, 5 times of you pushing yourself beyond that boundary, you're going to be like, what was I thinking?
Yeah. I'm ready for that.
Yeah. Because now your mind shuts, and it doesn't completely shut, but it shuts because you're like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to, like, I'm done. I can go back and call him back. But now it's like, no, you got to keep going. Right. So, I mean, you're a very physically fit person. You work out, you understand it. It's just the same thing when you're working out. You have certain amount of reps, certain amount of weight, certain amount of, I don't know, minutes in a mile, whatever it is, but you push yourself, it sucks. But once you hit that, then it's game over,
Right.
So small talks with a purpose. Okay. Do that. The other thing that I would do is I would probably practice on my education, meaning when I'm educating the seller. Remember, this guy was a landlord. So with landlords, there's not so much of emotions. It's all about numbers.
Yeah.
It's good that you took the motivation of what I want to do, get rid of, don't want to deal with tenants and toilets anymore. But it's all about, on top of it, it's all about numbers.
Yeah.
So you went really fast on that calculator, which is something that I would do for someone who's just a regular homeowner selling their property. They're more emotional than analytical.
Right.
We'll go the way you did it, which is you just went high level, boom, you dropped the hammer. But on someone like an investor, I always say, hey man, from an investor, let's look at the numbers. I want to make sure it's good for you, but I got to keep the lights on. Does that sound fair?
Right.
Yeah. All right. Let me walk through this and share with you how I'm looking at it. And then maybe I'm missing something. You can point something out. Boom. Hey man, I can sell this for this, which you said ARV. I probably wouldn't use ARV,
Right. Yeah.
but I'm a landlord, so I didn't knock you off of that, right? Because I'm a
Right.
landlord.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, ARV is this, and then I would literally just walk down the line. Hey man, you know this. If I decide to sell this, I got to look at my closing costs, my holding costs, which is about 12% of that number, and then I got to look at my rehab costs. You never got an agreement on how much the rehab costs would be. You never threw it out.
Right.
So if you never threw it out,
Yeah.
I'm a landlord. I'm going, well, I'm missing that number. So how can I calculate with you?
Right. Yep. That makes sense.
You get what I mean? What on your calculator, what was your rehab for this one?
I did well again. And like I said, to be honest, had I stepped back and taken time, it might have been a little different. But in trying to go through this and push myself through, I had 190 on the on the ARV. Then I put 50,000 in repairs. So I went down in the profit or on the rehab calculator and saw, the materials. It was kind of that. Where was it?
That's where that's why, and you were going to do $5,000 assignment
Well,
fee?
I was putting the roof into consideration. So I looked at kind of that mid-range rehab on a rental, which was 37. And then I thought for a roof, there's 12. So I kind of put that at 50. Maybe it wasn't conservative and I thought it was, but I put that down. And then I put the original sale price when I gave him was 89,000. And then I put a wholesale fee of 7,000 in there. Originally I had 5. So that was giving a profit 11.16%, potential profit 21,200. So then I was playing with the wholesale fee and the contract price when I went up to the 92,000.
Got it. So that's where you were getting stuck.
Yeah, and again, in the repair piece, I'm like, did I get that right? I mean, I went to the rental, I went to a middle, just, when you talked about the roof, again, didn't get through enough pictures to see, which was another mistake. As I was floating around, I was like, pictures for inside the house, like what does it look like? I should definitely should ask more about the inside. So that was kind of vague. So that's why I went with the mid. Like those were the missteps. I was like, I didn't really get to the
I got
what does it look like inside?
Right, so I'm gonna put it on my notes here. ARV as offer. Okay. I'll get back to that. So let me just go through the notes that I got on here. The education, just work on that. Keep role play with Pam, role play with me.
Okay.
Just be like, hey Caesar, let's just do a quick 2-minute role play. I need you to be a landlord. And then talk to me as if I'm a landlord. Or you'd be like, Caesar, I just need you to be an emotional seller.
Yeah.
Let me go through the calculator with you and then just get those words out of your system. So the next time you're with a seller, it just comes off of it rolls off your tongue.
Right. That makes sense.
Okay. So education, you gotta, you didn't do bad. It just gotta flow. And that will come with repetition. So either you keep doing what you're doing and do more of it, and or use the community by doing quick role plays. And a lot of people would be okay to do that as long as if it's quick 5 minutes, just go boom, in and out, right? That's totally fine.
Yeah. It felt choppy. And I was trying to get I was like, in my head, boom, boom. I was like, this is all over the place.
Yep. You're playing ping pong in your head.
Yeah. Well, I knew that was happening, but I was having trouble comping and unraveling all that to make it flow again.
Got it. Okay. The other thing is in the middle, this is what I wrote. So your question, remember when I went down to 98 and then you were at
Yes.
89,
Yep.
you didn't really have a question for him. You
Right.
just asked him what's the best that you can do the second time.
Yeah.
So that at that point, what I'd like to say, Pam, is, hey, Pam, if 89 is too low for you and 98, I still can't keep the lights on. What's the number in between
Yeah.
that can get you closer, give you more time with your grandkids and you don't have to worry about tenants and toilets, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what's the number in between that can put a smile on your face and blank?
Mm-hmm.
Blank, whatever that fourth layer motivation, that true motivation, that's where you drop that. Hey, Pam, I understand, if 89 is way too low for you and 95, 98 is just way too high for me, what's a number, just curious, what's a number in between that's going to put a smile on your face and, give you more time with your grandkids so you don't have to worry about tenants and toilets?
Yeah.
And you shut your mouth.
Right. And I think when you had said that, and I was like somewhere in between when I was doing quick math,
Yeah.
I was like, and this again is the lack of experience. I'm like, do I go a little bit lower so I have negotiating room? So that's why I was like, how about 92? When
Yeah.
you said, when you were like, how about somewhere in the middle, and threw it back at me? I'm like, oh, great.
Yep.
Back.
So,
yeah.
the one thing that I will tell you, and I'm looking at my notes here. One thing I'll tell you, Pam, is what I really like what you did is you got me to come down 3 times.
Yeah.
Most people can't even do that.
Okay.
Right. So what do I mean by that? First, you asked how much I'm looking to get for it. I went 105.
Yeah.
And the first thing that you said after you did, after the conversation, the comps were done, you said, hey, if I can do this for you, if I can pay all the closing costs, no realtor fees, pay cash as is, blah, 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 meaning you're rattling off the benefits that he's going to get.
Yeah.
What's the best that you can do? I dropped from 105 to 98. That's the first thing. Now, what I liked about you is once I dropped to 98, you went into the education part. And because of that education part, I dropped again.
Yeah.
Right. And so I like that you said that you went to, and then because you educated me and then you said I needed to be at 89. And then I believe you shushed your mouth, if I'm not mistaken, because then I spoke. I said, no, that's too low. At that point, this is going to be my third thing, which is, hey, I understand if 89 is a little too low for you.
Yeah.
90, 98 is just, I'm not making any money there, or I can't keep the lights on. What's a number in the middle that's going to put a smile on your face and blank in this case, and that will give you more time with your grandkids and you don't have to worry about tenants and toilet, or you have one less tenant and toilet to think about.
Right. I like that.
Right.
And bring it back. Yeah. Yep.
And then now he goes down to 95. So you had me drop from 105 to 98 to 95. I just dropped $10,000 for you, Pam. So when you said earlier, you don't know if there's enough motivation. If someone that doesn't have any motivation, would they drop that much?
Yeah.
See, you can look at that. If the person keeps dropping, that means there's motivation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Didn't think of it that way. Yeah.
Which brings me to the last point. All right. And I'm going to give a shout out to Brandon Clark because he's the one that told me this. He said, yes, you anchor low, right? You obviously you need to make a profit. He goes, so yes, quote and unquote lowball, but don't lowball enough where you get kicked out of the kitchen.
Yeah.
What happened to you, Pam? And I gave you 3 times. I gave you 3 times to close the deal. You didn't take it. I said, Pam, will you really lose this deal over 3,000?
Yeah.
At that point, when you're that close, Pam, when you're that close, what do you say? You gave it to me earlier. You gave it to me in the beginning. What's our process? What's your process?
Yeah.
What's your process? I'm asking you, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, that we would come to an agreement on a price. I'd send out a 2-page contract. We could review it together. And then after that, would send someone out for a walkthrough, do an inspection. And if everything is exactly as you had said, then we'll move forward with the price and your timeline. If not, then we'll revisit that.
Great. So then now how can you, that last part, that last sentence you just gave,
Yeah.
how can you use that? Now you're at 92 and I'm at 95. How can you use that last sentence to close me now?
So if
Remember,
I go back,
don't get kicked out of the kitchen, right?
right.
You gotta lock me
So
up now.
if I go back and take or meet him at 95, or say, willing to sign the contract, meet you at the price that you want at 95, or I don't know, maybe you suggested say 94. And again, if everything is accurate,
don't get kicked out of the kitchen.
Okay.
Close.
So 95, and then, as long as everything is what you're telling me today on the call with the house, and the inspection is good and walk through, then we will stay at this price. If not, we'll have to revisit the price and the timeline.
That's right.
So that's the way okay. All right.
That's it. Right?
Okay.
So I'm going to give you a line now to summarize what you just said.
Give me one line to summarize what you said.
Yeah. Here's a closing line that I like to use. I'm going to give it to you right now. So just listen.
Yeah.
And this is recorded, so you'll be able to get it. So yeah, don't take any notes. Just listen to me. So I go, Pam, all right. Pam, I'm really solid at 89, 92, 95 is just getting me a little bit outside of comfort zone. So here's what I'm going to do. If I agree with you on 95 and send you an agreement, is this something you'd be able to move forward today? Or do you need to talk to your wife or anyone else? Or is this good to go? Do you say it's good to go?
Yes,
right?
Good to go. Yep.
All right, Pam. So here's what I'll do. I'll get you to the 95. I'll get an agreement with you 95. I just need your help. What I mean by that is I'm going to send multiple contractors out there, okay, because I need to get multiple bids. Get that rehab cost low enough, hit my margin, you're good to go at 95. Now, if we need to go in, now once we go in there and now we need not only the roof, but another big ticket item, then obviously we're going to have to come to the table and either renegotiate on price or time. But assuming all I need to do is the roof and then lipstick on a pig on the rest, I'm good to go at 95. If there's another big ticket item, I just need you to be flexible with me if I have to come back down to 92 or 90 or 89. Does that sound fair?
Yes.
Perfect. What's the best email address for you?
Yep. And then go from there.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. Yeah.
What you did was you went so low that you got kicked out of the kitchen. And I asked you, are you really going to lose this deal over 3,000?
Yeah. And that's when I was like trying to think I should take this. And then I'm like, what if, and then the angel devil, it's like, what if your numbers grow?
Yeah. Because remember, here's the thing. As soon as you get off the phone, guess what's going to happen? You're going to have a wholesaler behind you who doesn't know how to comp properly and going to offer that guy 98,000 or 105,000.
Right.
And that means you've lost this guy for the next 30 days.
Yeah.
Or you can keep this guy in the next 14 days, get your contractors, your investors out there, and then come back for a price drop if you need to. And if you don't, you're good to go. But either way, you have control of the situation.
Yeah.
Right? Because here's the thing. At that point, you're locking him up over a $3,000 difference. It wasn't a $30,000 difference.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a $20,000. It's a $3,000 difference.
Yeah.
So if you need to come down on price later, you can now give it back to him and go,
right,
hey man, I've got $92,000 sitting on the table ready to wire to your bank account. Are you really going to walk away from $92,000 over 3,000?
Yeah.
You get what I mean? Right now, I can ask you that question because it's all hypothetical.
Oh yeah.
But once you have the money on the table, meaning you have an end buyer, now let me see him walk away over $3,000.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I think in my head too, I was like, all right, I got to play hardball.
Yeah.
And maybe everybody was come back
No, but
tomorrow. I was like, that's not good.
I like what you did. You went from 89, 95. You went to, actually, you're a much better. I'll tell you this, you're much better than I am, Pam, because I would have just got him at 95. I would have never even done the 92. But you stuck with your guns at 92. All I'm saying is at that point, when I told you, oh, Pam, 95 is just like my bottom line number right now. I've got a lot of people calling me. I know I can find someone stupid enough that will give me 95, you know, or more. At that point, it's like, hey, man, I get you at 95. You ready to move forward today? Okay, cool. I just need your help. I just need access to that place because I need multiple bids to get my rehab low enough so that I can get you that 95.
Yeah, I didn't think of leveraging, like going to look at it and do the make sure the rehab budget was, and kind of how we do the reverse rapport. So I got to remember that. So
yep. Okay.
That's really helpful.
So education, just work on that.
Yep.
Asking, what number in the middle would you meet at? Have that pristine. Hey, if my number's too low, your number's too high, what's a good number in between that can still achieve your goal? Whatever that is. And don't say achieve your goal, but use the words that came out of their mouth, because once you use the words that came out of their mouth, that picture pops up in their head.
Right.
Okay. Small talks with a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, and my best transition line is, hey, while I'm looking at the properties in the area, can you tell me a little bit more? Right. While I'm doing this. So that whatever question I ask may be far off from what was discussed, but because I have that transition line, it's not as far off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So education in the middle, small talk with a purpose. I love that you walked me down the price. And then ARV and offer. Okay. So
I got that.
What were the comps that you found?
I was on PropStream and did the comps there. And this is what I was saying too. Like, I didn't run through them as I would offline, because I'm not there yet. So that's where I got worried about the price, because I'm like, are these accurate? Because it was a ballpark. So when I ran through PropStream and just kind of pretty much the comps that were there that popped up, I sorted out the public record.
So you saw 1626 at 180. That's why you said it's 190.
Yeah, well, I saw an estimated value at 189 on PropStream, but that was like running through everything. Like I said, I need to get better where I'm actually selecting the houses. So I kind of was just ballparking, like, okay, let's see. I also knew when I asked you what you wanted before, and then I looked at PropStream and then Deal Sauce, I threw it in there. And I mean, that had said retail at 169. It confirmed that it had rentals at 900 to 1,100. So what he was saying, and had the wholesale at 110. So
perfect.
I was, again, not the best way, and want to be more precise and actually.
No, you're good.
But,
you're totally good. Yeah. No, you did everything fine. So here's the reason why I like using homes.com.
Yeah.
I'm going to present my screen to you. Okay.
Okay. And also too, I think it's a titanium call.
Oh shoot. Is it on right now?
Yeah, I think it's on 11, I think.
Oh crap. Okay. I'll make this quick. I apologize. I didn't even realize.
Oh no.
Okay. See, so here's the thing, right? So what I like about this is, look, boom, similar sold homes. Yeah. Subject property, boom, 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 right? Look at this, nice. 2, 4, 6, and 1.
Yeah.
So right here, my question would be, hey man, what's the difference between the west side of New Brunsville and east side of it?
Right.
What's the difference between north side and south side of East Houston? Because these properties are selling big. They're in the 300s, 400.
Right.
Look at number 2, 400,000.
Yeah.
Number 1, But look at this. Now, if I look at number 3, which is the closest one to our subject property, right?
Right.
There's no major street. Sold for 129,900. So when I see this, and it got sold when? February 25, just last month, right?
Yep.
Look at this.
Just the other day.
Look at this. It's a full rehab.
Right.
At 129. And then, so when I see something like this, I look on PropStream and I pop that sucker in there.
Yeah.
Okay. So now I go, okay, well, how much was this sold for? It was sold for 105.
Right.
See, so in that case, that 95 that he gave you was right, because all you have to do is lock it up at 95 and call this guy and sell his house for 105 to him.
Got it. Okay. And that I did pop up homes.com, but I had never really used it. So it was sitting there, and I did see the front part of it where it had the estimated value, and I scrolled down quick, but I didn't give it a good look.
Yeah. So that's why I walked you down to 95, hoping you'd see this. But now that's why I like using homes, because very quick I can go and go, oh crap, there's some things happening here. These are good areas. These are probably not. But why did this guy buy this for 105? He probably bought it for 105 because he sees these comps. And he just bought this recently. So if he bought this recently, he'll buy this recently. He'll buy this again.
That's awesome.
All right.
Good. Love it. Hey, go call this property then.
Oh, I will. Trust me. I know. When I was doing it, I was like, oh, I should call this guy. All right. Pam, thank you very much for your time. Hopefully this helped out.
Thank you, Caesar. I'll see you at the university.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.